Good evening, everybody, or whenever you're watching this. I'm doing it right after work. It's late evening for me. It's Paul here. I want to take some time to talk about goal setting. Something that's often overlooked, but it's actually quite important, and we value quite highly. No matter if it comes to the fitness stuff that we eventually help you with, or if it comes to anything in your personal and professional life. I mean, we do the same thing here with where we want the company to go, how we want to help it, and not only that, but our family goals and how we want our fitness to go. So let's go ahead and start into this. Okay, of course, why? Why is it important? Um, First is, provides an end goal and performance markers. The end goal is obviously the ultimate thing you wish to achieve, whether that's finishing a race, competing in some event, um, finishing a degree or starting school even, or even starting a family, anything like that. That's your ultimate goal. But a big part of it's going to be breaking it down to steps and looking at your performance markers. So these are little goals that you should be hitting in certain time frames that allow you to know that you're on track for the ultimate goal that you wish to hit. And of course, this helps you kind of maintain that focus and discipline. One of those keeping your eyes on the prize. So if you have this clear-cut goal, this thing that you want, it's easier to do the small things that usually add up a whole lot more. And then accountability. I mean, if you share them with people, and as you should, I mean, people should know what your goals are, what your dreams are. And that's also a great way to weed people out of your life. People who don't support you, I mean, they don't matter. I mean, they don't share the same vision, they don't share the same qualities or passions that you do, and if you don't align yourself with people who share those things, then, I mean, you're really not going to set yourself up to succeed very well. And the real reasons. Find the deeper meaning to your goals. I'm not just talking about, because I'm looking to improve my life. I mean, a lot of my fitness passion, unfortunately, has stemmed from body image issues and self-confidence issues. And I compensated by constantly working out and constantly trying to improve upon what I thought wasn't good enough for people and trying to get to what they wanted. And having really realized that has also helped me, shape myself as a person, but also kind of shaped where I've gone with that and how I can help others. But things with a value mean more. Um, and I'll go over an example using my own as an example for you guys. But you want something that actually has some meaning to you. I mean, if you say you want to run a 5K, a lot of people do. It's easy to kind of wean off it if it really doesn't mean a whole lot to you. So if you're going to do it, I mean, find a deeper reason for it. Do you want to do it because you need that jump start to your health, to set an example for your kids or for people you work with or anything like that? I mean, it holds so much more to it than just, I want to run a 5K so I can say I ran a 5K, because then, especially if you don't share it with people and it doesn't have value, it's easy to just kind of ditch out of it. Just do it. Do it for everything. Don't just do it for the health and fitness stuff. Everybody just thinks goal setting and they want to think of, I want to hit this weight, or I want to hit this body fat percentage, my cholesterol, this and that. You can apply this to all areas of your life. I do it with all areas of my life. I have personal and I have career goals set. So I mean, some people wish to start families. I mean, I'd like to find somebody to settle down with, but I don't really have an aspiration for children, but that's just me. I mean, you might. So go after it. When do you want to do it? How do you want to do it? I mean, obviously, if you're married, you have a little bit more of an idea, but you obviously want to have some financial stability to go with that. So those are things that play into it. Spiritually, that's one that I won't always talk about. I'm not a religious person, but spirituality is something that applies to your sense of self. This comes from part of my degree, is that sense of self. So even if I don't have religion or this belief of a higher being, the spirituality is just, how do I identify with myself and how comfortable am I with myself and what really makes me me. So, I mean, there's goals on improving that. I mean, we always want to be a better person. not only for ourselves but for those around us. So this is something that you should do for all areas of your life. This isn't just when you sit down and say, I want to get to the gym 3 days a week. Questions to ask: what is it that you want to achieve? Obviously this always starts with kind of a general, I want to do something kind of big or something kind of small, but it's usually just like a general thought. And then you start to kind of narrow this down as you go, okay, if somebody says they want to start running, like, that's really general. Is there an end goal that we can kind of get that's a little more specific? Do you just want to do a 5K? Do you want to do a big race? Do you want to do a small race? Do you want to do it with somebody? Do you want to do it by yourself? So you kind of start big and start narrowing it down, and as it gets more and more specific, it's easier to kind of build this base of how to get to that goal. Why? Everyone hates these questions because you could ask why endlessly, and we won't do that. But you should be able to clarify for the most part on these. I mean, don't continue to go why and why and why, but get to the real root. What is the biggest motivator? This applies to something that has true meaning to you. Is it simply just something to do so you can brag about? And for some people, that's enough of a motivator. Or is this something that you're looking to prove a point, or just test yourself? I mean, so you got to really find that driving factor that's really going to help you kind of stay with the goals and meet them. And planning is kind of important. So the how of it, how will you achieve it? What are the steps you need to take? Breaking down the steps makes it seem much more manageable for anything. When you look at one giant goal and you don't have kind of a plan to attack it, it's overwhelming. I deal with that quite a bit, actually. And then hurdles and barriers to your success. There's always going to be hurdles. There's always going to be things that come up, especially unannounced things in life. That's just how it is. We all know it happens, but you want to know that it's going to happen. That way you can kind of be ready for something to kind of go wrong. And when I say resources available to you, not only the things and money and physical things, but I'm talking about the people. People are important resources, guys. Don't forget to have good people around you. They're what are really going to make you succeed. Doesn't matter what else you have around you, but if you don't have anybody around you, failure is pretty much inevitable. Yes, there is a life cycle to goals. I mean, not that they will fade out and die, essentially, but there's that cyclical characteristic. So your end goal doesn't change, but something comes up and you have to readjust how you're approaching to get to that goal. Coming from a runner background, I mean, I'll use that as an example a lot, but I can get more specific if somebody has more questions. What is going to be, say you want to run a marathon, but an injury comes up. Okay, end goal's still the same to run a marathon, but I might have to postpone it a little bit. I might have to change my training a little bit. I can still make it to that goal, but, my how and why may change a little bit. As I was saying with the goals won't necessarily die, is, don't give up on them. I like to look at it as, the reevaluate, adjust, and then continue. I mean, the how is usually always an adjusting and ever-moving thing. So don't get frustrated because something goes wrong. Just take a look back and keep in mind why you started towards that goal. And then making it real. Writing it down. Doesn't have to be by hand. I mean, it can be on the computer if you really want to, but I mean, having it somewhere visible that you see often. I keep mine in a journal that I write through, and I write pretty often. I jot down ideas or things that come up in my life that I, find to be important or valuable or meaningful. But I have a chalkboard occasionally where I write things down. Usually that's my to-do list, but that is similar to making goals, is that helps me achieve my things that I need to throughout the day and throughout the week, is having them visible. So, and I always encourage to share with some people, even if it's one person that you kind of value their opinion a lot, because that'll help you keep you on track. I mean, they'll be there to support you and help you when things come up. So to share some of mine and kind of give you a better idea on how I view this is, I've got a couple different varieties of goals that I have. One is to run the Detroit Free Press Marathon this year. I've done a couple half marathons. I do a big relay called Great Lakes Relay. I do that in July pretty much every year that I can. So I run a lot, but I haven't been healthy. But I've never run a full marathon, and I just want to check that off my list as a runner of having done it. But part of that, and there's more detail to it, as I said, to get a little bit narrow with it, is to maintain my strength and maybe build some strength as I'm going through that training. I mean, I don't want to back down from a 400-pound deadlift and a 300-pound back squat simply because I'm trying to run a marathon. I actually want to exceed through those goals and push towards those larger numbers that I want eventually. So I'm trying to just test myself and test my training and see what I can do. The reading a book every couple months. I used to read a lot when I was a kid. I loved to read. I loved to write, but I got away with it. That one partially plays into the third one there of the back to school plan, is because should always be learning. Anybody who stops learning, or anybody who tells you that they think they know the most about a subject is an idiot, because the most knowledgeable people are constantly learning. There's always different viewpoints. There's always new things coming up. So that's what we do for you guys, is we're constantly learning and we're constantly seeing what's coming up, and we want to portray that in a way that's understandable for you. So, I mean, I'm just trying to get back to, what I used to love, and that also plays into, my sleep. So I got to do it before I go to bed, because that'll help relax me and help me get a better quality of sleep, as we probably will cover in a different talk some other time. And then a back to school plan. I'd love to further my education for you guys' benefit and for my own, because I love to learn. I'm a geek when it comes to things. Josh will tell you. You'll probably notice as I go through things that I'm a big geek when it comes to especially science things. But in general, I like to be pretty passionate about things. So those are some of my goals. I mean, those are out there for you guys. This will be saved on the internet for all to see. So success comes from continuous and gradual struggle. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, it's not going to be easy. But, the best things in life aren't. And this goes to the saying of the best things in life aren't free. It's one of those where you can't buy happiness or all that crap. But really, you're going to have to work for what you want to. Nothing's ever given to you. A lot of us know that. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And it makes it so much more worth it when you work for it than when it's handed to you. There's just much more value into it. There's blood, sweat, tears. There's pain. There's agony. But there's pure joy at the end of it. Yes, I am having some wine again. Well, that's all I have for that one, guys. I just wanted to touch on goal setting. We'll have a new talk pretty much every Friday. We post a new blog every Monday, so feel free, head over to the website, check it out for all our latest blogs and videos. Subscribe to our newsletter. You'll get a 10% off code for your first order. You'll get up to date on all of our happenings. We've got some potentially big things coming up that we're hoping to settle up pretty soon. Training's still in work, but we'll hopefully have that coming out soon. And then always hit us up if you have any thoughts, any topics you want us to address, or just random things that you want to tell us. You can always hit me up at my email address, paul@trainathletics.com, or hit my brother up. It's josh@trainathletics.com, or hit our general email. We take all inquiries through that one. That's teamtrain@trainathletics.com. Have a good evening, guys, and don't forget, live, lift, and love.